Hello everybody and welcome to the Narcissist Network. I'm Dean, the host of the Narcissist Networking channel and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 265 on the network, and the title of episode 265 is the Narcissist aware of the detriment or harm they have caused you? Just going to let you guys know I'm going to try to get through this video as best I can. I've got a really severe head cold right now, and if my voice sounds funny, that's exactly why. So getting right in here to episode 265, and we asked the question, is the narcissist aware of the harm that they've caused you? I think it largely depends on the narcissist. Definitely higher level narcissists who are overtly intelligent and stuff, they're probably going to be aware of the harm that they're causing you, because they're probably carrying out their narcissism consciously aware that they are actually narcissists, whereas lesser narcissists who are very much functioning on just the way that they behaviorally are in life and may not be aware that they have narcissistic actions or that they are narcissistic in any particular way, may not be aware of the detriment that they are causing you or the harm that they are causing their victims. But again, it can go either way here. You know, does the narcissist care about what they're doing to you? Well, a vast majority of narcissists will just do what it is they do in life with their narcissism to their victims without really looking way into or introspecting about what they're doing with the people that they're harming. That is not to say that the narcissist isn't intelligent. A lot of narcissists are very intelligent, but their narcissism causes them to focus on themselves, and because they're so focused, they don't really care about how you feel or what they're doing to you or how whatever they're doing to you makes you feel. So are they aware? I think a large majority of the time higher cadre narcissists are aware. Even medium levels are aware. Lesser levels that aren't as intelligent maybe aren't as aware of what they're doing or don't think that they're narcissists. They may think they have problems. It all depends, you know. It really depends what that narcissist knows, because we also have a large number of narcissists now on the internet, some of which have video channels on YouTube and such, and these narcissists are aware of their narcissism. They're aware of what they do to people. They're self-aware of what they are. They may be trying to effectively better their lives and get away from their narcissism, but they are aware of what they're doing. The vast majority of them seem like relatively intelligent people, because I've watched probably about 20 or 30 different narcissists on the internet that have channels all about narcissism, where they talk about themselves and they talk about their narcissism and they talk about the things that they do to their victims or to people around them, and they are aware of what they are. They may or may not be actively trying to change their narcissistic ways. Either way, but they seem to be aware of what they are, or they are actually aware of what they are based on what their channels are, and they may or may not be trying to do something actively about that. Again, do these individuals particularly care about what they're doing? Well, I think one or two of them that are out there are aware of what they're doing, and they are actively trying to not do those things to their victims or to the people that are around them or to the people that they're involved with. But I think a narcissist is just so self-focused that they do not really understand how bad they're treating people or how much they are messing people up. I'm in a lucky situation with myself with the experiences that I had with my narcissist. Lucky in the sense that when I was in excuse me, when I was in my 20s, I studied psychology. And I studied psychology on an amateur level for a great many years, because I had a fascination with with serial killers and things of this nature. I had aspired to go into law enforcement related to that particular type of thing. It just turns out that my life went a different direction and I didn't end up doing anything of that nature, but I still studied psychology at that point. And of course I'm restudying psychology now over the past six or 7 years, because I dealt with my narcissists and I had to re-understand what was going on with all of that. So for myself, I'm super lucky because I now understand narcissists and what's going on with these individuals. I understand how they're created, why they are the way they are. I do even understand why my narcissist may have done what they did with me, and I understand this to a point where I don't really fault them directly for this. I'm sure my narcissists are out there watching this, and they probably think I do fault them for being the way that they are, simply because of the way I've talked to them, not only on my channel, or talked about them on my channel, but also maybe perhaps the way I deal with them in a personal way. But you guys don't get to see my repartee with my narcissists or anything, or the ones I still have contact with. As it turns out right now, I haven't had any contact with any of them for some period of time now, at least a year. But before, when I did have some contact with my narcissists, I would deal with them in whatever respectful way I could. The problem is that to that narcissist, when I'm talking to them about what their condition is and what they're doing psychologically, based on the science and psychology of narcissism, my narcissists think I'm shit-talking, or I'm talking at them in a way where they're an object or whatever, or I'm trying to put them in an instance where, you know, I'm trying to categorize them into some particular thing. At least one of my narcissists doesn't think that she's a narcissist, even though she has been a diagnosed bipolar person since before I had an experience with her. And as we know from studying narcissism, that when you are bipolar, it almost always carries an NPD diagnosis with it. Now, that NPD diagnosis can be of a different, lesser level, and may not be full-on, overt, covert, whatever, with that particular individual. In other words, that individual who is a narcissist may not do, ultimately, other terrible things within their narcissism. But, and this applies to narcissists I've dealt with, whereas they may not necessarily be horrible people. And again, it depends on how you look at this. If you go look at the Royal We channel, which is hosted by a guy named Kevin on there, and he looks at narcissism very much from the aspect of a spiritual aspect and a religious aspect of narcissism. He's going to tell you on his channel that narcissists are fucking full of shit, and that they're horrible, horrible, evil people. And he's not the only one who has a view like that. There are many narcissistic experts out there who have similar views as that. I don't necessarily look at narcissists in this particular way. I look upon them as that they have some type of scientific, psychological lapse of reasoning, let's say, lapse of behavior, improper behavior that's beset them because of trauma and the science of their brain and the functionality of the brain and all these things. So I'm not really faulting any of my narcissists for being the way they are in that way. They are dealing with traumatic things that have affected them and made them the way they are in their life, and other things that go on. But I can tell you that I have spoken to a narcissist of mine, and when I talk to them, they think I'm talking at them. Now, or I'm talking about them like an object or something, a defective object, but that's really what is going on with this person. When you regard it in science, they have a brain condition where there's a lack of proper functionality in the brain, so they don't deal with people the way that they are. If they did, and they did have a lack of that, you know, conductivity, proper conductivity, then these people wouldn't be going out or be involved in a relationship like with you, like my narcissist was involved with me, and at the same time have a romantic involvement with somebody else when our relationship was supposed to be a one-on-one thing between me and that person that was completely monogamous. Yet they were involved with other individuals. People who have proper brain function, who don't do things of that nature or don't have open relationships voluntarily, don't do behavior like that, and they certainly don't try to hide it. They certainly don't try to hide behind it. And they certainly, if they are beset with being found out about things like this, they will usually come forward and acknowledge that they've committed some type of thing against you, and maybe try to offer you an apology or something of this nature. And I have at least one narcissist who has never really done that in this particular... Well, they've attempted to in a very trivial level. But, you know, this is part of their narcissism. The lack of being able to take responsibility for their actions, even though their actions were of a nature that were harmful to somebody else in an emotional way. And again, for me, because I study narcissism, I'm relatively lucky that I can understand this type of behavior out of my narcissist, and I can make heads or tails out of it and go, well, this was just a person who's fucked up. This person is fucked up. They don't know what's right. They don't know what's right from wrong, or they're not able to do what's right from wrong, and they just do what they want, and they hurt people, and fucking this is the way that they are. So the best thing to do with that person is to just not be involved with that person, because they can't get their life straightened out in a way where they don't harm people or don't abuse people in these ways. But that being said, again, some narcissists are able to take responsibility for their bad things they do to you. Some narcissists are not. Some are able to admit to this, some are not. So, you know, does the narcissist understand what they've done to you? I think that it depends on the narcissist largely here, and their understanding of themselves and their understanding of their state of being. So that's just what I wanted to talk to you about here in episode 265. I'm going to say please stay tuned. I got lots of other content coming up on my channels. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you really soon in some upcoming videos.